Day 131. Let me tell you, I was just about to come on here and say, I ain't gonna do this. I ain't gonna be here like Magic Johnson. I'm not doing this shit anymore. Literally, my title was about to be This is the End. This shit is exhausting. I be having so much to do and then trying to do this and squeeze this in. Oh, it's tough. And I was about to end it. And then I just got some sudden inspiration due to, a conversation I was having earlier. So the title, can hold on, let me make sure I read it how I wrote it. Um, but can you date and find real love if you don't know your tier? I say that, can you find, when dating, can you really find somebody that you're going to be happy with if you're unaware of your tier, where you're ranked in this dating pool? Everybody's ranked in the dating pool. It is, sorry, it is what it is. You could get mad at it. You could say, oh, you got to have self-confidence. That's all bullshit. I don't care how much self-confidence you have. At some point, the marketplace is going to dictate what you are and who you can be with for the most part, right? It's just like a job. I could say, hey, if I had a job, if I'm going to a job, hey, no, you got to pay me $1 million a year. And they're going to be like, okay, well, you're not, you're not worth that. Like my last job, I was a logistics manager. So you're not worth that. Maybe to a bigger company, but this company, you're not. So it doesn't matter what I feel, even if I'm confident. Yes, you want to have confidence so you don't completely lowball yourself. That's important. You got to understand the difference between confidence, so you don't lowball yourself, and being overly confident, thinking you deserve more than what you actually deserve. So you have to know your tier. There's no getting around that shit. And if you think you're on a higher tier than what you really are, you're going to be very disappointed as you meet people, because you're gonna have these expectations that you think you deserve this. So know your ranking, know where you rank. Somebody asked me today, um, where do you rank yourself? Because I asked that person. But they asked me in return, what do you rank yourself? I said, yo, I'm about globally, because you gotta rank yourself, you know, across the globe, right? So I said, I'm about a 6.5 on average. On a good day, when I'm well rested, fresh cut, everything fresh, like I'm feeling good, sun's hit me right, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Been drinking my water. I can get to about a 7 at best. On bad days when I'm looking scruffy and, sleep deprived and stuff, 5.5, 6. You know what I'm saying? Average is about 4 to 6. You got the low end of average, you got right at average, you got the high end of average. I'm right outside the tier of average, like right up above it. You know what I'm saying? Uh, so about 6.5 is where I will rank myself, and I know that. And most people are average. You know what I'm saying? Um, all the 8, 9, and there's no tens, because 10 means you flawless. That means you have no flaw. You can't have a flaw and then be like, oh, but this person's a 10. Then they not a 10, because 10 is perfect 10, right? It's called perfect 10. This like, if you be like, she's a perfect 10, that means she can't have a big forehead because she's not perfect then. You know what I'm saying? She can still look amazing, she can still look great, but she can't be perfect. Or he, you know what I'm saying? I'm just using a so know your tier. You can go above your tier. The more you go above your tier physically, right? The less we just going from a physical standpoint. There's other qualities, other things and qualities that can move you up. But physically, we just going physically. Know your tier. And at the end of the day, if you are, let's say if you are a 6 or 5, you don't want to go more than 2 tiers above where you at. If you shoot for something higher than that, you're gonna always be feeling self-conscious. You're gonna be chasing constantly. You're gonna be putting up with stuff you would not, even going 2 points over. You're still gonna be dealing with more. You're going to be the person being settled for, And if you're the person being settled for, then you're gonna have to work a little harder to keep that person happy, or keep not. You can't really make them happy, but you know what I mean. Keep them happy, keep them feeling satisfied. You feel what I'm saying? There's no getting around it. You might have an anomaly here and there. People always want to talk about the anomalies when they make their cases. And I hate that shit. Stop making your case with an anomaly. What does the averages say? When you see something, how does it, you see a bunch of situations, how does it usually turn out? If you got a person that's a 4 and you got another person that's an 8 or 9, you know, how does that normally turn out? Do they be living happily ever after? Or does it seem like the 9 is always chasing the 4? No, the 4 is normally chasing the 9. You know what I'm saying? Um, so try to stick within your range. If you go, if you, and you got to be conscious of where you are. Put yourself up against people that's known, and ask people, hey, it's tough, but sometimes we need that tough, love and tough realization. Is like, yo, what do you rank this person, right? Said celebrity, just somebody we all would know. And then you think you put your in your head what you think you are ranked, and then ask other people, hey, what do you rank? Let's just say I don't know who's I'm old school, so go prime Denzel Washington. You know what I mean? Because growing up, I remember all the ladies loving him, right? So prime Denzel. So where does he rank? You got his number, right? And then you think to yourself, where do I rank? And then you ask people, yo, where do you rank me? If you was to rank me, ask some close friends, you know what I'm saying? And then also ask, I did a small poll and I found people really don't use the same scale. People don't fully use the same scale, but why people don't use the same scale? Because sometimes people use other attributes. You have to use one, just go off physical attributes, and then two, obviously people have different tastes, so that matters. But here's one thing, right? Here's one thing. That's why you got to judge when they use other people. So, for instance, if I like dark skinned women, and you have me rating somebody light skinned with freckles, I don't really like freckles, right? So she's gonna be ranked a little bit lower to me, where there's another person who might like light skinned women with freckles. So but our gap shouldn't be too big. You know what I'm saying? And if it is big, okay, well, let's do this with a few others, a few other men who like dark skinned men. I mean, dark skinned women, and men who like light skinned women. I'm trying to say that all together, right? And see how they rank it. If the gap is constantly big, then now you can say, okay, well, teach his own. That's why. But the gap is not always going to be big. There's a woman, I can't remember her name. She was seen talking to Duke, right? Light skin with freckles. She's pretty, but she got freckles. So I was talking to this one dude, and he ranked her this number. I can't remember what he said, and I ranked her a little bit lower because she was bright with freckles. But it wasn't that big of a gap. It's not like he ranked her a 9.5 and I ranked her like a 6. You feel what I'm saying? So I think I ranked her like a 8.5, 9. That's still close enough. You feel what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, people's scale, if it's just all physical attraction, it's really not that hard. And the way to figure it out is to always have them use other people. But we have to start being more real with where we are ranked, because if we're not, we're going to start expecting things that's above our pay grade, above our tier, you know. So, and if we do, I hate to say it. I know people going to say, "Oh, you got to have confidence." I ain't going to just allow any. It's not about allowing, but it's just knowing where you rank. You can still get a person who looks fairly decent, right? And then they have all the other great qualities that you're looking for. Doesn't always have to be, and usually when they really fine, they not going to have great character for the most part. Let's keep it real, because the better looking you are, and this is like throughout history, and not the anomalies. The better looking you are, the less you have to develop your character. It is what it is. It's always been like that. The beautiful, beautiful, beautiful woman, she is not the best woman. She is not the mature woman. She is not the woman of good character. She thinks the world revolves around her because the world have been telling her that she's beautiful. Dudes would be like, "Oh, I like your little attitude," and blah 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 blah, saying they like an attitude. But when it's a girl that's a 5, they over here pissed off. That means you don't like attitude. You just saying anything to her, and then she's thinking I could do whatever. Same thing like I think it was Kerry Hilson that was saying about NBA players. She was like, she was telling, not just NBA players, athletes in general. She was like, she was talking about Serge Ibaka. She said he didn't have to develop his character because he's an athlete. That your athletes is hard to deal with because all your life everybody just been a fan of you, been praising you. So that athlete is ranked high up. You know what I mean? He even if he ain't the best looking, he's still more than like he's tall, he's muscular, and he got clout, right? So he doesn't develop his character. So the best looking people, the most sought after people usually don't have the greatest character. Now I'm not saying it can't happen, but they don't typically have the greatest character. So always wanted somebody that's like that you view as super high. It's gonna come with some problems, so you got to be prepared for that. It's gonna come with a person who gonna think highly of themselves, and everything goes revolves around them, or they might be kind of dumb or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But know your rank. You have to know your rank. You have to know your rank. I wish everybody could really just get like it was a test that you could just really put it out there so you could know and then be like, okay, this is where I'm ranked in the marketplace. This is how the world views me. And the thing about ladies where y'all get it confused is y'all think a dude wanting to fuck changes your rank, and it's not the case. Just because he's willing to throw you some dick don't mean he sees you as this high rank. Sometimes it could even mean that you a lower rank because he thinks he has a better chance with you. That 9 and 10 might be too much work. That 5 and 6, it might not be that hard. So I could just say, you know what? I would rather go for the 5 and 6 because I got a higher chance of getting that. Think about it, yo. I know this is harsh reality, but I'm all about harsh reality. I'm all for it. I'm harsh with myself. I look in the mirror. Like I said, I ain't over here trying to rank myself too high. Even when some people tell me, I'll be like, all right, cool. But I just think I'm right outside that tier. 6.5 at best. Or 7 at best if everything's great, but 6.5 regularly. You feel what I'm saying? So, and as I'm getting older, that shit gonna diminish. So I gotta hold on to it as much as possible. Stay fit, drink water, don't eat sugar. Oh man, what I got to say? This poll that you did a small poll. Where's this poll at? I would love to see where the poll is. Let me see. Hold up. Or was it just at work? Did you do the poll at work, or did you like put it on Instagram or something like that? I'm waiting for your response. Yo, yeah, I was waiting for this response to the topic today was about ranking yourself properly on so you could date and meet people, but I ain't get no response. Maybe she logged off. It's whatever. Oh, here we go. Hello, it's not written, but yeah, at work after we got off the phone. Okay, so what was the overall number you heard the most? Be honest. Did you write it down? I asked about 6 guys, and what did they tell you? Do you if it's only 6 numbers, you should be able to remember every number. And I hope you said globally. That means you got to compare me to, you know, the baddest ones you've seen. And trust me, guys see a lot on Instagram because it shows they be out here showing a lot. I'm waiting for that answer. But yeah, that's the biggest thing is really just knowing where you at. It'll make it a lot easier, you know, and know that this person is high ranking, that has all these great characteristics and all of that stuff, that's physically super attractive and all that. They probably more than likely going to be taken. Or if they're not taken, they're going to be having fun because they got value, especially if it's a guy. He's not just going to be looking to settle. We as guys all our life have we had to, for the most part, there's some guys out there that they just got it. But we got to work to get women. It's not easy. You know what I'm saying? So if I get it all together, all right, let's see what you put. Yeah, I asked for honesty and said globally the average was about 7.5. So you remember all the numbers? You remember all the numbers? And these guys that you asked, what would you rank these guys from the highest to the lowest? You don't even have to say all of them. Just what was the highest ranking guy in your eyes and what was the lowest ranking guy in your eyes? Damn, I should have just sent you an email so you could just come on here, split screen. All right. It's a lot of dead air. I gotta figure out something to talk about in the meantime. But I don't know. I still think overall a lot of people are delusional about what they are supposed to get. More so women. I hate to say it, but it is true, y'all. Like, because y'all not told by other women that y'all cool with the truth. You know what I'm saying? Men are shit on each other quick, like joking, like, you ugly mug. You know what I'm saying? What was your question? I was typing. The question was rank out of those 6 guys that you asked, rank the highest guy. Like, what would you rank him? And the lowest one. You don't even have to do all of them. Just the top one and the bottom one. So what would you rank them? But yeah, all I what I was saying, that confidence thing, that whole, oh, I'm I got to be confident in this and that. I'm not going to just settle for any old. It's not saying you settling. You just settling for what you are. But I truly hate number scales for people. But it's reality. See, that's the thing. Nah, rank them. It's reality. It's reality. You know how I know? Because when people say they hate that shit. I'm glad you brought that up because you just sparked something in me. People say, "Oh, I hate that," but when you see somebody, you do it. You might not do it with on a numerical scale. You might not say, "Oh, this person's." I don't walk around every day just say this person's a such and such score. But you look at them and you rank them without the numerical portion of it. You just rank them like great looking, or good looking, or average looking, or you know what I'm saying? Or disgusted. You do it. You just don't put a number to it. You put a letter grade for the most part, right? Because it's like 5. Or you know how they be like, are you likely, less likely, or more likely, or somewhat likely to mess with this person? That's all you're doing. You're doing the same thing. You just don't want to put a number to it. So out of those 6 people, right? Okay, here we go. My coworker is not the best lookers. Haha. So I say 5 lowest, 7 highest. Okay. So a lot of times, mainly with men, guys who are at a certain tier see others as above too. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes. So that matters. You know what I mean? That matters. Now, and it's because they normally can't get nothing for the most part. They can't get great looking women. So always ask, you know, great looking people. What do you rank me? On that note, I think I'm gonna end it right there, y'all. We could finish this conversation another time. I'm sure I'll bring it up again somewhere down the line. Till next time, peace.